your voice be heard on WHCR 90.3 FM, where you can be informed, be educated, and empowered. And of course, you can be heard. Hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/letyourvoicebeheard. You can also tweet us at BeHeard_radio. We have Kawanza and we have Danielle on deck right now, tweeting at you, retweeting. Again, like I announced last week, we pretty much retweet and respond to everybody. So if you have a comment and you don't want to call in, just tweet us or Facebook us or like us on Instagram or something. So today on Let Your Voice Be Heard, we're kicking off the Dreamers Endure series, which spotlights an inspirational young adult who is using their influence and talent to make a positive impact in life and in their community. We're launching the series today with, again, Nigel, a.k.a. Scott Morris. So you just want me to say Scott Morris?
Yeah, I think he said that already.
Scott Morris. Okay. Just Scott Morris, who is a music artist, composer, event coordinator, and a student. Still a student, right?
Yeah, I'm a graduate since 2014.
Got it.
Wow, you're a baby.
Age is number a number.
Okay. How old are you? Let's get that out of the way.
21.
Oh my goodness. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
You just got old enough to
Sorry,
have a sip of
Selena.
something.
I know.
Yeah, he's
That's
legal.
good.
Hold up.
She said, exactly.
I can't
Age
right
number a
now.
number.
Oh, okay. So, and he uses his voice and hip hop as a platform for others to express themselves as well as himself. We actually met Scott Morris while we were covering the Dean's List tour. Let's just start off. Let's just talk about a little bit more about the Dean's List tour, because I feel like that definitely gave you a lot of exposure. That's how Let Your Voice Be Heard got connected with you. We were filming you, your artist, and talking to basically what that movement and everything that you coordinated, what that whole thing was about.
Actually, I'm even grateful to be on here. Basically, what the Dean's List tour is a college tour that brings together some upcoming artists from all types of genres, from rap to singing to dancing to all type of things, and it allows a lot of different artists to express themselves. Because the way I see it, there's a whole bunch of artists who are really talented, but we really didn't have that type of coverage or people to notice that we're out here. So what I did was, being that I do a lot of hosting in different schools, and sometimes I rap or organize events for students, I figured out a way to bring all the schools together. So it was like 10 different schools. It was like a stop every time, and we had like a steady 200 for every single night, and it was great for that, because I seen like a lot of different people who would come up after the show was over or hand cards to some of the artists because they saw that there was talent out here.
Wow. Okay, so, I mean, Stanley and I, we were there. He's actually on the PC ones and twos, but I just want to let you guys know that it was a great experience. It's definitely very lively. It's a positive platform. You get to see all of these underground artists expressing themselves on different levels, you know, talking about real issues. I just remember some of the hip-hop artists. It wasn't just like the cliche mainstream hip-hop, but it went deeper, and it was like poetry.
Can I? I'm sorry, Selena, because I got two new favorite up-and-coming artists from coming to those events.
Yep.
Julian Stephen, who actually goes to City College.
Shout out to Julian.
And I know he was a rapper, but I never listened to his music, and he's really good. And then the other one, Brittany Campbell.
Oh, yes.
You
We
know,
love Brittany.
Yeah, you
Shout
know,
out to Brittany.
I play that song every week, Call Me Baby.
I was like, who is this? And he was like, that's Brittany. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
She's
oh my God,
good.
I'm supposed to be in a remix, but
Yeah. Call me Baby, I did, but it went to voicemail.
That's Stanley's remix. I can't read now. So, okay, so tell us.
Danny gonna be in the video.
And I'm going to be in a video, too.
Of course.
I can see you, Selena.
They don't let you pop lock it on the beach, Selena, because I saw the video for it. It's on the beach. You
Oh,
can't
you
just
saw
pop-
my video, right?
Not your video,
No,
Selena.
her video.
What video, Selena?
Right? Oh, yeah.
I know, right?
In case you guys don't know, Selena puts up videos almost every week of her doing Nicki Minaj or other stars.
And she tags all of
I
us.
seen it. She
Yes.
had this rap facial expression. I
This
seen
one for the
it.
girls with the boom and
I
system.
can't.
Okay, I'm crying of laughter right now.
Up and coming, Selena. You're up and coming, too.
I am up and coming YouTube star. But enough about me.
All right.
Back to Scott Morris. We need to know where you're from. Like, okay, I already know you're from
cool.
Brooklyn, right?
Brooklyn.
Woo!
What
Where
part?
in Brooklyn?
Well, I'm from Canarsie. That's where I'm
Oh, what, like,
I'll
where
check.
in, yeah, where in Canarsie?
The nice part.
Alright, cool.
Like the
I'm
Prodigy?
Just like what he said. Yeah,
The
I'm over
80s,
there. I'm like
Flatbush.
I'm like around in the 50s, so it's easy to get to me. Exactly where I'm at, it's like it's the middle. So some people say Canarsie, some people say Flatbush. It depends on like where you're from and everything, but because it's like you can go left, you can go down to Canarsie, you go right, you go down to Flatbush. So I'm like in the middle of everything, but I'm right by South Shore.
Do you remember that $5 movie theater they had over there?
Oh my goodness.
I used to go there all the time.
Oh
to see
yeah, I used
movies.
to go down there too. I get a lounge and go over there see what's up.
But the ticket was like $5, but then popcorn was $8, so it didn't make any
That's
sense.
always the case. $4
Oh,
for water.
Nah. I had to connect, so we try to do that.
So he paid $6 for that popcorn, y'all.
Brooklyn connects. I say that because, of course, every person from Brooklyn and Brooklyn music artists rep that borough like it's the last place on earth. I'm not hating. I'm just trying to say that you guys are really proud. And I want to know, how did Brooklyn influence your craft and what you do?
Well, it influenced my craft because like I had like a lot of personal experiences. My music is very personal, so it's like when I used to write it first, I wasn't sure if people would like really be too concerned about what I have to speak about. But it's like I'm glad that I came from it because I went through a lot of different things from people I associated with to like relationships and different stuff. So just for the fact that I was able to grow up there and like it just allowed me to be better as an artist and just be able to, you know what I'm saying, be able to like tell my story in a great way so people can connect with it.
Definitely. And speaking of personal, since you are a dreamer and doer, that means that you're inspirational. And a lot of times people get inspiration and motivation from the struggles and obstacles that they face. So we got to get personal. What was one of the... oh, hold on. Okay, let me...
It could be heartbreak. That's
Yes.
a struggle.
I want to...
Of
Yeah.
course,
It don't have to be gang violence.
I be putting on my speeches when I talk about that. I be
Not everyone is like my life, Selena. Maybe,
Yeah, well,
That is a really good question, though. I like to know what inspires you and like
Yes.
what is your genre of music that you most pull from for your music?
For me, I listen to everything, to be honest, and I started listening to a lot of underground because, like I said, there's a lot of people that I see on the regular and connect with, and just from the fact I can listen to their music, it allows me to connect with them in a better way. But when I'm writing, like I said, it comes from my personal experience, for the fact that I can be and talk with someone, I can see someone on the street. It's like certain situations that I see and I want to try to avoid being in. I try to talk about it in a way so people can get a different point of view, because I feel that there's always two sides to a story. And it's like sometimes people are only hearing about one side, whether it's about the money or the cars and the clothes. And I figure that if you could talk about that, you can talk about it in a different retrospect and allow people to see that there's always another side to it. There's always, like I said, you have the hustler stories, you have the people who admire the hustlers because they watch the TV and this is what they was portrayed on media. And you have other people who just speak about how they went to school, who they associate with, heartbreaks, and trying to make it. So me, I just talk about what I know, what I've lived, people I've associated with, and what I experienced, and just so that people could relate to it and eventually make timeless music.
Definitely. So what's one of the, I guess, the biggest obstacles or struggles you overcame?
I guess it probably have to be, I gotta think too, I got you right now. It's like two. One of them before was like, I guess in high school, like I was a little player or whatever.
You were what?
A player?
Oh,
I would just,
we call that womanizing.
I
no, we don't. We call that American.
I wouldn't say that. I was just very friendly. I like to compliment women and I make women feel good. You know what I'm saying? I like to have conversations. But other than that, like,
Selena's gonna say we call that street harassment. But
never. I make sure I treat females well. But,
good to know.
Yeah. I was like, I got biggest foot in my school because of that. But it was like, I dealt with a lot of different people, and then I eventually met my karma. So she basically made me realize what I was doing, so I get a better understanding of how I was treating people, and that just shaped how I dealt with people, how I interacted with people and stuff. And I guess another one would have to be, I guess, when someone guaranteed me an opportunity, and basically like they made it seem as if I would be good. And like I went back to my mom's that, okay, we're gonna make it so far, and then I finally allowed my mom to see that, okay, this dream that you're chasing after is possible. So that was one. And I guess just sometimes when like I had like decisions last year between either purchasing this Metro card or just paying for some food, and it was like either I do that or this if I want to really perform. So those are some of my.
But so you went without food.
Sometimes I'll go back home. Like I have like a choice. Like for example, when I went to Mercy, my homegirl was able to get me on to perform. Like I didn't go to that school, but they had a talent show. So my homegirl said, I can get you in. I'm like, all right, cool. I pay for this round trip. I get out there. And I knew that if I bought the round trip, I got to wait all the way till like 12/1 before I eat something. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it.
Oh, okay. Time concerns. I thought it was like Stanley struggle.
Nah, like I said.
Damn, you put him on blast.
Nah, he's a good man.
No, I love Stanley definitely, but you know, Stanley has definitely shared those hardships with us.
Well,
here
now
on
he
Ravens
has
We Heard.
us, and he's like, "Can you buy me lunch and coffee?"
And I definitely do.
Yes. I'm actually in a homeless shelter close to my
Guys,
apartment.
Shut the hell up.
God,
That I paid
Stanley
for.
sent us a text this morning saying that if we have a soul, we would bring him a cup of coffee.
You don't understand. I was up until 4 in the morning
You should
preparing
have
for this
told
segment.
me.
What'd you call it? You guess I can't act loud with you yet.
Please.
Oh,
Yeah,
We
but
go way
remember,
back.
If she ends at 1, she can still get you that coffee.
I got you.
Oh shit. Patricia got me that coffee. Why do you think I'm so happy right now?
Alright.
That's why Stanley's so perky.
About to bust a chair cat daddy.
I know.
That's so sad.
I can't. You said cheers. Okay,
So Lena was thinking you were in poverty, and she's like,
I
"Oh, you
only
know."
said
I know.
No,
She
but
was about to
you-
shed a tear over there.
You made decisions. It's
Yeah,
either
that's
you
what I'm saying.
perform now, or you're gonna go eat and hey.
Let me
that's
ask
it.
you this. I have a question.
Cause like I'm barely home.
I have a question for you. You know, people say that it's important not to become like a jack of all trades, a master of none. Like it's important to put your focus in one thing. How do you juggle everything that you do? Like how do you not get lost in your writing or building these showcases and
It's like,
like,
with me.
how do you juggle and school and
I was
whatever
doing
your
that.
personal life? Like how does that even work out for you?
With me, it's like I knew that if I wanted to finish school, like I had to train myself to do my homework and stuff a week in advance. And I know when I'm organizing events or trying to book events for myself, I always have to think 6 months to a year prior. That's why I started training myself, because I know that if I don't think that way and then work myself back, then it's like I'll get lost and stuff. Because when I first started, it was like it wasn't easy. It was like somebody would say, here's an event here, and then I have to finish organizing this and trying to get all the people. And sometimes when I first started, it wasn't as how it is now. But I had to go through those struggles and learn that if I'm really going to do anything with myself or be involved with so many different things, I have to learn how to like organize 6 months prior.
How consistent are these events? Like how often?
Right now, they're more consistent with it before. Like
Okay.
they went from like it was a month or 2 months when I first started a year ago, and then now it's like sometimes it's weeklies. That I had one weekly that was every Wednesday, and then I had to like think on the spot to create themes so that people could come back every single Wednesday. And then there's some that it's like monthly events that I host, and some are like it's just either weekly, monthly sometimes, but
Okay.
they're usually close.
Definitely. Stanley?
Yeah, no. I'm sorry. I'm a big fan of Nine Jules, and I've been to a couple
I'm a
of
big
his
fan of
events.
yours too, brother.
All I do is I don't know what I do actually, but no.
Like him on Facebook?
Well, yes, I like statuses and I put up articles, but no.
Appreciate that.
I went to what was it? Not Art for Wednesdays. The one you had on 21st Street. I forgot the name of that event, but it was like this nice little bar lounge area. They had
that's every day.
performers.
That was every Wednesday.
Yeah, and then they had like you had like a whole bunch of ping pong tables, so you can play ping pong. have
Wow.
Oh,
drinks.
nah, that's a different one. That one was paying poetry. That one is like a monthly event.
That
I
sounds
host that.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yo, we got to work with Nigel.
And you know what? And it was definitely such a blessing to see someone directly from the community being so young. I had no idea you just turned. Well, you're 21 years old, and it's just all the events are pretty much diverse, very poetic. It just gives you a different feel to Brooklyn, to our culture, to hip hop, and just the young generation, our generation. And speaking of the events, and earlier you were talking about the ladies. So you went from like a player to you do like a lot of female empowering events in which you dedicate time and space for females to either express their talents. And can you talk about how that came about and why? Like, cause you don't usually see that. Like, what inspires you to do that? He doesn't. Tell us about it, especially Patricia.
Like I said, I love girls, but other than that, it's like the way I look at it is females are really talented, but sometimes like they're undervalued. So it's like you'll have hip hop artists who can just really rap very well, but because they're a female, you're not gonna really pay them mind or care too much what they're saying unless their lyrics is like explicit or something. So I figure like we have a lot of girls that rap, who sing, dance, do different stuff. They need exposure as well, just like we do. So that's why I came up with this event where, like I told to Pauline about it, which is like, it's like my sister, she does poetry, she's like a freestyle poet. And we was like, I said, like, let's come up with an event so where we can start something, and then after, from March to April, come up with a female tour. So the event was called Phenomenal Woman, and it was just all female performers, no males allowed.
Wow.
Now the thing is, I have a gripe with it, somewhat, and I actually heard one of a hip hop feminist brought it to my attention, and she was like, should we give females, should we throw like showcases just for females? It kind of segregates them away from the mainstream male, showcase, and it kind of looks like they can't compete instead of just including them within a male showcase or a general showcase. So I want to know, why did you make that decision to have a separate showcase just for females?
The way I look at it is you have all male showcases and you have all males on the lineup. So if we could do that with males, I don't see no reason why we can't do it with females. Cause like I said, from what I've seen, I've had the opportunity to be around a lot of different girls who can perform, and like they're just as good as males. Like, these two girls that I'm always around, like they're part of this group called the Nomads.
Oh, I love the Nomads. Shout out to the Nomads.
Erica Kane and Trey
Yes.
Monet, they can spit with any male. Like, they can give it to you. Like, it's just that they're waiting to get discovered, but they can spit. So I'm like, they inspired me in just being around Parlay for the fact that she's a freestyle poet. She don't need to write anything down. You can give her a word. Like, maybe we perform on the train sometimes, and she'll come up. Like, this lady will throw her a word after I perform, and then she'll just have the whole train just sit and listen for the fact. And this is not written down. Wow. So I'm like, if you have girls that are this good, like, why can't we give them the shine? So that's why I was like, all right, after we do the Phenomenal Woman, then from March to April, we're going to do the all-female tour, allowing females to perform and show what they can do.
That's really awesome.
Wow.
And I think to add to that, what you were saying, you have this lineup and it's all men and nobody blinks. Nobody thinks it's weird or odd that there's no women there. And then you have a lineup that is only women and people are like, why are there no men? So I definitely see what you're going at. Yeah, it's always like, it's okay. Like, it's normalized for it only to be men, but when it's only women, people think it's just odd and like almost discriminatory.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, ideally it would be both, but I do think that it's good that you give your platform and you allow women to be a part of it.
Do you
That's
get
really
a good
empowering.
response when you do that?
I get a good response, which is a blessing to know that.
Even from the female showcases, you get people still come out, males and females?
Yeah, like there's dudes that come out and they show love at the end of the day because they want to see who's next and who's hot and right now in the underground scene. So it's cool to see that it doesn't matter who's performing. People just want to hear good music. Like, I remember, like, and I realized that more, but that realization came from me performing on the train to where, like, I was performing and some people, like, they'll be reading their books or different stuff and, like, they'll stop just to listen. Or even this little girl that was drawing and she stopped just to pay attention. That shows that people just want to hear something good. It don't matter what you are. As long as you have a good message, you can perform or you can just really move people, they're down to listen.
They definitely are. So we're going to take a quick break. I think we're going to one of Scott Morris's songs. Right, Stanley?
Respiration.
Yes, Respiration. So you're gonna hear a little bit more about his craft and his art. So stay tuned, listen to the song, and keep tuning in to be heard. This is WHCR 90.3 FM.
Overwhelming and smoking to on your nerves. Gonna lead to cancer in a couple of seconds. That's like a milk down. Sipping with something over certain I should leave her high. In a matter of minutes,
I can't sign on mine. I'm gonna give you mine. Wait, the segment's over.
narcotics was the remedy. Wasn't listening to anything that anyone was telling me. See, it's all because it's
Drake.
And we are
If
back.
that's not my jam, I don't know what is, because that is my jammy
I
jam.
love praising God. That's my praising problem. It's a Sunday right now. I got a praising problem.
Okay, way to make it
Praise God.
You gotta do the hallelujah. Hallelujah.
You know,
I
they be
love
in
that.
church, they be mad hype during praise and worship. Hallelujah.
I think our listeners just spiked up. They were like, "Oh my God, they're praising Sunday!"
and then they heard the reality. I'm sorry, this is Let Your Voice Be Heard on WHCR 90.3 FM radio. We're having a good time here in the studio. It's packed out. We're speaking to Scott Morris. You probably see him on Facebook. You probably liked him on Instagram. And if you haven't, you should definitely go to _Instagram_radio and like him there. So we just played your song, Respiration.
Cool, thank you for playing.
And what was that about, really quickly?
My verse was about my cousin that died of cancer.
Oh, that's deep.
So for the fact that, because I lost her like early in the year, like last year January, so like more inspiration really came. Because I always wanted to write to that Respiration because like most definitely like my favorite rapper. So I just wanted to write something to where eventually in time, if he ever discovers me, like he can see that I wrote to it and he would like really appreciate for the fact that like I wrote something that was meaningful. So my cousin, she died of cancer, so I wrote something about that situation, that for the fact that cancer killed her and then she ended up leaving behind 2 kids who probably never get the chance to know what their mother could have been like, because she was coming back to singing. Like in Canada, she's like big, so she was like my inspiration for the fact she was like dealing with this situation and wanted to give up. She made me decide like, okay, maybe this music thing that I was like contemplating about when I was dealing with my situation was possible.
Wow. That's pretty deep.
Yeah. That's like a very different. You just threw me off. You just threw me for a loop right now because I was gonna ask you a question. I just want to know. Everybody that I meet, like 90% of the people I meet, want to be rappers. It's like a really
you
common.
meeting?
Girl, you don't know how many people be like, oh, can you get my mixtape?
Yeah,
Can you get my mixtape? Please.
I got a mixtape. I got a
Shut up.
mixtape. I got a
Whatever,
mixtape
shut
coming
up.
right now.
K-Lo.
You don't even know. People are like, oh my God, please play my song. I have no power to do that.
I got a
First of
mixtape
all,
coming
second
out.
of all,
Do you want my mixtape?
I mean, pass it over.
It's called
Whatever.
Gucci Welfare Bandanas.
Shut, Stanley. If you
I ain't
don't,
gonna hold you up.
Mine is called I Make More Money Than Stanley.
Nice.
Mine is called I
That's
Can.
a Cassidy and Meek
It's
battle.
beef going on over
I
here.
got
that I don't
city
want no
benefits.
parts of.
What up? I go to the doctor. My copay is $3.
Medicaid, huh?
Medicaid.
Girls, girls.
Okay, let me get back to my question.
Go ahead.
What sets you apart from every other rapper?
The way I look at it is, at the end of the day, we all have similar stories that we're telling. Because when you rap, you're basically conveying the same messages. It's just about how you tell it to the people. But mine is my personal struggle. Like, I'm making music that allows you to get to know me. Because it's like with me, I was insecure about my stuff because I felt my stuff had to be real. Like, I want to tell you what I experienced, who I associated with, who I told certain things to. Like, certain names that I'm going to speak about in my stuff when I drop my tape in February. Hopefully I get it. But other than that, it's a free download too, so it's no money. But other than that, it's
No
like,
plug, insert plug.
I can't afford the internet. I gotta go to Patricia
right now,
House.
I'm just trying to get stuff away for free so people can just hear me. The way I look at it is at the end of the day, you got to think about the future before you think about
Yep.
selling $5 tapes. So
You have to pay your dues.
But the way I look at it is I just want people to get to know me for what I'm talking about and just to like be there for the journey from when I started to hopefully when I finish. So
Definitely.
stuff that people can feel and relate to.
Wow.
But you're not gonna finish, Diddy. I thought I told you that we don't stop.
I shout out to him, though, but I don't
And speaking of shout outs, I also want to shout out the photographers and videographers who are also here recording, doing their thing.
Behind the scenes.
Yes, behind the scenes. You'll see that footage again on Let Your Voice Be Heard radio.com or lyvbh.com.
Well, actually, I will remove all tags of myself in the pictures because I have to approve every single picture I take.
Oh.
I cannot. What a
Listen,
diva.
as long as Selena looks good, the pictures are going up.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So this is my good side.
Anyway,
Scott, I just wanted to pull actually from what Karina was saying, and you said 90% of the people she meets,
I swear to
want to
God.
be rappers.
I swear.
And I don't think I have as many rappers in my life, sadly so. But I do think that there is this thing about rappers that they all have to do with this thug life, which is why sometimes I feel a little bit like separated from the genre because it's really not what I am. And I feel like you do not have that. You do not. When I meet you, I don't get that whole like I need to be a thug so I can make it in this industry. What do you say about that? Do you think that most of hip hop is just thuggery?
I think most of hip hop is
All
balanced because
day.
at the end of the day, you do need your ignorant stuff in order to balance it out.
Really?
But the way I look at it is the thug stuff or the sexual stuff is what people right now like to hear. So it's like until you, as an artist, comes out and is able to make music that people can just listen to, whether they're going to the beat and how they're rapping or whatever, thug stuff is what people are going to listen to and hear. You got to dig deep and find people who really are speaking about stuff or able to like find radio stations or radio personalities who are interested in hearing other music other than these problem songs or other stuff,
and I actually think that's a shame. That brings me to, I want to talk about the current state of hip hop now that you just brought that up. If you guys want to chime in, the number is 212-650-6903. You can ask a question to Scott Morris, or you can just talk about hip hop, which is what, again, so what I want to talk about, because you're saying now we need, I guess like ignorant music, some people call it ratchet, to kind of balance it out. But I feel
That
like
got popular, crazy.
ratchet, right?
Ratchet?
It's because of that video. You ratchet?
It is. That's where it's from.
Yeah, the ratchet video.
You ratchet.
Don't even go to Stanley.
Nah, I was gonna say I like the word because of that Juicy J song. You say no to the ratchet stuff. Juicy
But
J.
he got it.
Juicy J
That's
got
what
it.
Shout out to the homie Juicy J though.
Juicy J got it from that video. But speaking about, like, I'm never gonna, front. I enjoy Juicy J and some of those songs, Chief Keef. You guys know I love Sosa.
Girls
And
love Sosa.
That's my jam.
Look,
jam.
you know how to act. As soon as you said it, she was like, damn, hope Sandy played that next.
Nah, Selena would be like, the objectification of women is wrong. Oh, I love this song.
I answer problems.
And it's true, but the thing is, as an adult, I can make that discrepancy between what type of music I want. But to our youth and young people who only watch 106 in Park, who only listen to Power 105 and Hot 97, shout out to Karina again, you're only getting one sector, one aspect of hip hop, and that's not hip hop. It's not the underground scene. It's not people speaking about their real life problems. I remember there was a documentary by Brian Hurt that came out years ago, and he was actually interviewing up and coming artists like Sky, and he was saying, why don't you talk about the realness? Why don't you talk about the struggle and overcoming and empower your community? And he was like, simple, I won't get signed. So what do you think about, and you're not going that route. You easily could. You can make ratchet songs and silly songs, and I don't know if you do.
It doesn't sound like you do, but
why aren't you going that route to get a deal?
Uh-oh.
What is that called?
Can you say it on air?
I really had this crush on Nicki Minaj, so
I think we all love Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, I think I have a crush on Nicki Minaj.
I do not have a crush on Nicki Minaj, aka E.T. No, thank you.
Nah, I think she's cute, but I don't got that crush no more.
Yeah, I kissed her in the mouth once, or twice, or 7 times.
Lies.com.
Yeah, you're right.
I just seen her in pictures. But I wrote this song about her when I was in like I said, junior high. I wasn't too serious about it. I was just doing it for fun. But there's that More Money, More Problems song. I remember she rapped over it, and I liked what she did. So I was like, okay, let me just write a song about this crush I got on her. And I wrote it.
Cute.
Yeah.
That's not thuggery. That's just cute.
Yeah, it is. That's not even. That's just
my heart
puppy love.
My
that's
heart
not
is
even
melting.
silly.
Yeah, no. You're not a thug. It's alright, and that's what I like.
But do you think that you would have to compromise yourself? Would you ever to get signed to make it?
Me personally, I don't think I have to compromise. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, there's a whole bunch of other labels. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta keep in mind other people are making their own labels. So it's about what you decide to do, what route you take. And at the end of the day, whatever route you take, you gotta keep in mind you still gotta work.
And I wonder, not trying to be the devil's advocate, but who's to say that that's not their real? 2 Chainz talks about so many things that have made no sense to anyone, but that's probably his real. And that's why I think music connects so well with people, because when you if you feed your fish every single day and you rap about feeding your fish, it's gonna connect to somebody because it's real and people can feel that. So I wouldn't really necessarily say that people have to compromise, but as long as they're real, then it's projected to people, and then people feel it.
I mean, since you brought up 2 Chainz, he actually has a BA in psychology. He actually grew up in a stable home. His father, he grew up from a religious background, and he talks about being in a trap. So, to a certain degree, they put on a persona.
But I'm saying, you gotta keep in mind, it may not be his true story.
But somebody he's around.
Because the title of his tape is called Based on a True Story. That right there indicates that, okay, it may not be his, but he has people around him that whose story this is. So
maybe
he's still being factual in his music.
There's a difference between telling a story, and I'm all for that struggle, and getting it out there, and just glorifying certain things that aren't helping us and aren't uplifting us, and telling kids, Chief Keef, that's his real story. He talks about, he literally hangs out with killers and is involved in a gang. And the thing is, I don't put most of the responsibility on the rappers themselves. It's the people, the executives that make money and exploit them. And they make this money off of them because they know that if you're impoverished, you're going to do anything and everything to get out. And especially if you don't have another way out or an education.
It is exploited, but I mean, they do have, we have Scott Morris right here. He's telling himself, this is what I like to do. This is what is empowering, and I'm going to stick to it. Yeah, sometimes you do have to do some kind of compromising, but you don't have to. I mean, we are adults. He's an adult. He has a choice, and he can say, no, I'm not going to do this just because you tell me I have to.
I don't care about these rappers' feelings. I'm tired of you always making excuses for them, Selena. My favorite rapper in the entire world, 2 of my favorite rappers, Jay-Z, nobody would sign him.
Shout out to Jay.
Nobody would sign Jay-Z. You know what he did? He made his own label.
That's why I said that.
But he's not saying anything different. He spoke about ratchet stuff. He spoke about girls.
If you listen to it,
but Jay spoke about his personal life. When he was an Oprah.
But that just stands by my argument.
But it was different. Listen to Reasonable Doubt. Yeah, he's talking about what he did, but he's talking about the struggle, the personal struggle going through that. Listen to D. Evils. Listen to Dead Presidents when he's talking about this week it's all good, next week the feds is coming up, that person that wants your block, he's looking at you.
But that was his real.
That was his real, but he made his own outlet when no one wanted to support that. Joe Budden, They shelved him for years.
Joe Budden is the truth too.
Yeah, you not put you on that, but like what you call it?
Everybody just sits down.
For years, like he was no sound. So he started putting his music out on the internet, and he's the one really. If you want to credit like these now album downloads, he's the one that revolutionized that because he started putting out a mixtape on thatpip.com, started releasing songs on YouTube, and he found his own outlet. Now he's signing Shady Aftermath, and he's with the best rap group in rap, period.
Slaughterhouse, right?
Slaughterhouse, in my opinion. There are ways out of it. It's not easy. It's never easy. But if you have even an inkling of a chance, if you want to do what you need to do, don't settle. Go for it. Look at us. We're on community radio. If we're on Hot 97 somewhere right now, we be talking about Chris Brown and how he cat daddied with Rihanna in the window. But we talk about important issues. You know why? Because we're making our own way.
I just feel like some people don't have that passion. Some people, it's not that serious. They don't want to send a message. They just want to have fun. They're going to get money. Like, honestly speaking, if somebody was gonna tell you, Selena, I'm gonna sign you right now, all right, for some ratchet ass music. I don't know if I can say ass on here.
You should have
No, you said it.
She was passionate.
I'm gonna sign you. You're gonna make ratchet music for $1 million. What are you gonna do?
I think that depends on the situation.
I think it's a
it does.
I mean,
I can tell you what I would do. Of course I
what would you
wouldn't. I have a purpose. I wouldn't feel comfortable with further hurting my community and the people that I feel like need the help the most.
And it's good, and then you have that. That's a really good thing because you're saying like that's why we don't have to give these excuses for rappers. Everybody has purpose. As I said, Scott here, he says this is what I want, and if you're a true artist, you stick to what you do. Actually, that should come before anything else, and that's an artist that I can respect, and that's why I respect you a lot, actually, Scott. My wish for you is that you never change. Actually, you know. Really.
So we kind of have to wrap things up a little bit, but before I know, right? Before we let Scott go, last question. Since you are a Be Heard dreamer and doer, what is your biggest dream, and what are you doing to achieve it?
To be honest, I'm just trying to get my name in these textbooks so that these kids can learn about me. To be honest, that's what I'm really trying to do. Like, money is cool, but the way I look at it, at the end of the day, no matter what job you do, you're going to be able to make money to be financially fit depending on your decisions. I just want, when everything is said and done, because, like, my inspiration to go harder came from, like I said, me reading this American popular music book, and then I was able to see that Jay-Z, he came from nothing where people wasn't paying him any type of mind, but out of so many artists that did their thing or had these hits or talked about certain songs, his name and Nas' name was the only two names out of the rappers that I knew was in there. So I'm like, I'm trying to get my name in that so one day, hopefully, I can inspire somebody.
Building a legacy, that's what we're talking about here on Let Your Voice Be Heard. Definitely a dreamer and chaser. I definitely want to thank you for stopping by, all the love and support that you've given us for the last couple months. Now that we've been here at WHCR.
I'm grateful for you. Thank you.
And you guys, if you definitely check out the website, letyourvoicebeheard.com, letyourvoicebeheardradio.com, you'll see more of Scott Moore's, what he puts on his events, because we've covered it in depth. I just want to close out to say that so often we hear a lot of negativity occurring in the news and not enough about the young people working hard to make a difference. But we hope that by hearing Scott's story, by hearing other people's story, you too will be uplifted and motivated to use your gifts, your talents to contribute to the greater good of humanity. I encourage everyone, stay informed, educate yourself, and empower those around you to spread a positive message. Dream big, and then like Nike says, just do it. Stanley, in here. You in here.
Fits the energy of the show.
What are you talking about? Can you just like sit in the chair and roll? Nah, he's good.
Can I sit down now?
One more with my phone, Anthony, real quick.
Hi, this is Scott Morris. I had a great time at Let Your Voice Be Heard Radio. Like I said, look out for music coming out in February, more events coming all year long. Like I said, just stay tuned to everything that's going down. My Facebook is Nigel Scott Morris Gus Scott. My Twitter is Life of S Morris, and that's the same with the Instagram.